Go out and just
Hello, folks.
expect
This
to.
is Microwave One of the S.E.E paper. I'm here today with Vectra. He is currently one of the main helpers of the CCNet staff, one of the longtime players of the CCNet server nations, and it's great to have you on the show, man.
It's an honor.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we're going to be asking a few questions today. We're going to be asking a lot about current staff movements, a lot of the current bans, also your view on the current server of nations, current views on CCNet general, and perhaps a little bit about your recent uh, thefts and stealages that you have acquired.
all right.
So let's jump in. Obviously, there's been a little bit of a stir over the past 2 weeks. There have been a lot of recent bans over the issue of toxicity. Obviously, staff has made it clear that toxicity is something that is not allowed on the CCNet server, although a lot of very notable players have been banned. What is the current staff move to be persecuting out this and rooting out the toxicity that we may see in some of our servers, and how are they doing?
I'm going to be honest. I don't have much clue.
Really?
Um, yeah.
Do you think that's
Even if
just
I did,
because you're
even
not?
even if I did know, I probably couldn't say. But I don't know.
I see. Do you think it's because you're not in like the general top upper echelon of staff? Or is it
Uh,
just a completely unaware situation thing?
I don't know. Maybe they are talking about it. I just don't know. But
I see. Do you think that recent staff moves with banning and a lot of flushing out of some of the senior players is justified?
well, I mean, I'm not particularly. I'm quite indifferent to it.
Hmm.
Illegal things.
I see. With that, would you say that so obviously you've been a staff member for what, like 4 months?
Probably. Honestly, I can't remember. It's been a while now.
I see.
Uh,
As a staff member, what is one of your key jobs? What do you do?
obviously, just helping the player base. It's
Hmm. Can you give like an example or something?
Oh well, I mean, me personally, I do loads of things. Just helping.
Hmm.
Just answering questions. Really, is the biggest one. Just answering other people's questions.
I see. From that, I'd like to question you a little bit about your recent. So obviously, you are Grand Theft Vectra. You are the
Oh
main
yeah.
guy. You are the Baron of South America, and you steal quite a lot of stuff. There's been a
Yep.
little bit of a hullabaloo, as we've noticed that the collection within Sun Harvest has grown a little bit outside of the town's bounds. As you collect more things, in what ways do you plan on storing?
Uh, Pure luck and hope. To be honest.
Luck,
Um.
luck and hope, I see.
Yeah.
Intriguing.
I don't know. I've kind of backed off from just looting things because
Hmm.
it's not because I don't have the space to store them. It's I can't be bothered going and getting them. To be perfectly honest, I just don't care. Um.
I see. Do you
No, I
plan on
mean,
ever do you plan on ever auctioning off anything in Sun Harvest?
uh, if I were to decide I'm going to quit or do something completely ridiculous, then maybe.
I see. So like obviously it's been a while since we've checked in the last time, but have you gained anything notable?
Let's see. Let's see. I mean, mm, other than well, a few more of those Roman APC things that are everywhere. Uh, Alliance Cruiser from some time ago. They've printed all new ones now. Alliance Destroyer. What else? I've seen still something a bit more interesting.
Intriguing. Now, obviously, in regards again to your towns and CCNet, Now this is a question that I've been brewing up for quite a long time. Obviously, about I believe last week we interviewed TNT from ETM. There's been a second ETM revival, and one of the main things on my mind is if you were interested in joining the second ETM Eternal Mayan Empire. Obviously, you were an ETM person of like major position. You
Yeah.
were one of the leaders for quite a long time. When and if they expand in South America, do you plan on joining the Eternal Mayan Union?
Uh, I'm I'm not really planning on it, to be honest. Like, I mean, Quinn's just nice to be in.
Hmm. Do you find yourself like actively participating in Quinn? Because obviously last time we checked in, you were a bit of a lower level player. Do you think that you're involved in sieges, involved in it highly?
I mean, yeah, if I choose to, help out to attend the sieges, then it's like, there's a part to play for everyone.
Hmm. Would you say that you've gained a higher position in Quintessence?
I don't think much has changed really. Like,
I see.
but
In regards to Quintessence in general, like obviously they've lost I believe two sieges or three sieges actually within the past 3 weeks. How's the situation on the inside?
it's fine. It's,
Fine. No
I mean, yeah,
questions?
it's not really that big of a deal.
Continued
Um,
confidence?
just come back next week and do it all again. It's not.
Hmm. I see. Intriguing, intriguing. When it comes to that as well, in more regards to general South America, obviously a lot of things have been changing around the continent. Caribbean is slowly getting weaker and weaker. Ironwood is becoming stronger. What's your view? What's your insight?
Ah, I mean, to be honest, Caribbean's always been kind of dead and a decline.
Hmm.
It's not anything new to me, to be honest.
I see.
Um,
Obviously, a lot of Caribbean is made up of old cultist players. So, like, what's your insight on that? Are you glad that it's been declining since it turned into Caribbean?
it's a little bit sad because it means there's less I can steal off them. But
I see.
so jokes aside, it's a wee bit of a shame, but
Hmm.
uh,
Do
I mean,
do you
it
talk
is
to
what it
the
is,
members of do you talk to the members of Caribbean often?
Just occasionally.
I see. Moving southbound, obviously Ironwood, we interviewed them a little bit over. There's like Fort Pato over there. How are you with those guys? How are you talking to them? Vec?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just cut out there.
Ah, shoot. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Obviously, around you have like Ironwood and Port Pato. How are you with those guys? I believe last time we checked, they were just a small country. What's your view on them?
Uh, I mean, as far as I'm aware, I'm still hopefully chill with Port Porto. Um,
Hmm. Are there
I don't know.
tension? Like, there have been tensions with Port Pato. What's like, by the way, is it Port Kudu or Port Pato?
I'm pretty sure it's like Porto Porto. It's
It's
kind
like the bird.
yeah,
So,
like the bird.
yeah, obviously there have been tensions there. How have you mended your image with them?
I'm good at myself. I haven't never done anything there. I haven't said any words. I haven't been over there. Um,
Hmm. Intriguing. With that, I just kind of want to know your general view on New World Order. So obviously you're an old player, you've had a lot of experience, you've seen Koa and Alliance through several phases. What's your view on the now big Koa New World Order?
eh, I mean, same old, I suppose. But
Hmm. Do you think that it's any different from the largest phases of coalition, or do you think it's just a new variation?
I think it's just a continuation to us. I don't think there's particularly like there's not much I can say that's particularly different from coalition.
I see. Have
But to be honest, like if it went for ETM, to be honest, I'd probably still be in the alliance, and it'd be like all that.
hmm I
But
see.
obviously, we were all shunned out of alliance after I don't know, they just couldn't be bothered pulling up, but
hmm
or whatever happened.
Now, a lot of people don't like, the coalition alliance phase. Like, people are very, especially the former people of the elite Penguin Force. A lot of the times would say we need a big shakeup, we need a wipe, we need to get rid of these two big parties fighting each other. What's your stance on that? Obviously, you've
I
seen
mean,
the two parties fighting for years now, so what's your position?
I don't know. I think it could be a bit more balanced, but to just to one day say just to one day have like a change that makes it so you can't have these two alliances is a bit it's a bit force fed, to be honest.
Really?
It's just I mean, like if you're going to put in effort to like shatter the big alliance, you're gonna have to like put in a bit of you're gonna have to like do a bit like you can't just the next day snap it away sort of thing. You just gotta
It's gotta
it
come
has
at
to
me
kind of feel like a
slowly.
natural push away from it. Like I mean, like SOI was fun in that, but it didn't really do much. Like you still had everyone was still mates with each other. They just
hmm
found
Was the
other
in-
ways to go around it.
was the intention of SOI to break up the major alliances?
I don't think it was to break up the major alliances. I think it was to more kind of have sieges more kind of like
Localized.
more local sieges.
I
Yeah,
see.
like not to the point where you'd have to go and make a whole new nation on the other side of the world just to siege someone, but like I think it's more to like just push away kind of having this
I see.
having some nation in America siege like the middle of Russia.
Hmm. Now, obviously, SOI was removed because people started exploiting it by building these miniature forts in every continent in order to gain range. Do you think that that kind of exploitation would become natural as people tried to fight fights far away from their own? Or do you think that, or was it completely new to you? Did you not anticipate it coming?
I mean, you make any change, someone's going to find a way around it. Like it's not,
Hmm.
nothing's foolproof,
I
really.
see. Do you think that repealing SOI and then replacing it with the diplomatic point system as we had before was a good decision?
I mean, I don't know. It depends on your opinion of both of them. I think diplomatic points are all right. Like I mean, SOI and diplomatic points for me they're kind of on the same thing. That it's like well, really the one thing that gets me with diplomatic points is the like like the requirement to have so many people when people are like people are really more of a resource than any redstone or concrete could ever be.
Mm. I see. Moving away from
Yeah.
basic game fixtures, I've actually wanted to ask you this question for a while. So obviously, you recently made a paper for us on the S.E.E. paper about, I think, like either 3 weeks or a month ago. And obviously, since then, there have been a lot of different papers popping up. There's been the revitalization of the CCNet NBC. There's a few that have been popping around the forums on CCNet, and obviously there's a lot of different papers, and I think they're all taking inspiration from S.E.E. What's your view on the other media of CCNet?
I mean, it's nice to see other people like hopping in, putting in there.
Hmm. Do you have a
Yeah, I can do it.
particular, now I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but do you have a particular favorite that you tend to see?
It's not really, but I prefer the ones where it's like where they kind of get to the point.
Hmm. And cut around the fluff.
Yeah, like I mean the ones on the CVNC, they're great. They're great paper.
Hmm.
Just can't be bothered reading through it. Oh, like there's a lot going on there,
I see.
and I can't say I'm particularly interested in all of it. Also, it'd be
True.
nice if the font size was a bit bigger. Maybe it's just not my thing, but I like a nice font size.
Hmm. I see. Moving back onto the server logistics itself, obviously the neighboring towns to Sun Harvest and I yeah, I always thought it was pronounced Coagula, but I am now told it is Coagula. How are the
Well, it depends who you ask.
yeah, wait, is it Coagula
I
or
mean,
is it
we used to
Coagula?
joke way back. I think,
What?
mm, yeah, I don't know. It depends. It really depends on who you ask. But back way back in the day, we used to say it was the coalition gulag. You know, co and then gula.
Hmm.
And it's like that was funny. That was funny.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you have claimed most of that area. You've claimed almost all of the former Coagula town or Coagula town. What is the plan for expansion there? Are you just using it to put in more ships and more planes, or is there a specific
Well,
thing?
I want to build stuff. You see, but I don't exactly have the motivation um to actually go through with it. To be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I've got a big plan. I've got all laid out. Like I want everything to be this certain way, but doesn't can't really find myself caring enough to build any of it. But it's fine if ever I get that fateful mail one day that I have to build more. I've got more to build. Um,
What exactly are you building? Like, is it just building town structures? What is the thing that you're constructing, or at least trying to construct?
honestly, like it started out being like this cool city thing, and then I kind of got a bit carried away and ended up with like having everything being all interconnected. You know, everything feeling so like together. Um, Well, you know, I wanted like to paint loads of art maps and stuff.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, why?
I don't know. I just thought it'd be interesting. Well, I mean, you don't. There's not many other towns out there where they've got street signs painted in a
Hmm.
thing and art map and
That is true.
Rome. But you don't really
Definitely.
have. I
Yeah.
think it's a nice idea just to put in some effort and paint some things about a relaxing night.
Hmm. I
Of
think
course, if the
especially
little paint cursor didn't.
I think especially in CCNet, like us, a lot of the stuff like art, a lot of people don't. The people who do it are very good, but I find a lot of, I especially find this myself, are very hard. It's very hard to get into. I would even say
Mm,
yeah, I wouldn't call it
yeah,
difficult to learn, but it's an interesting system, definitely. Yeah, although I think
yeah.
whenever you can use paintings to kind of brighten up a town, it always makes it look a little bit better, especially if you have some sort of architecture that fits it. Actually, speaking of architecture, obviously there have been a lot of different styles that have kind of phased throughout CCNet. I think now, especially when it comes to forts and things, we're looking at a more modernist look. What's your view on the current player architecture of CCNet?
I, I mean, I like that every town's trying to have something of their own.
Hmm.
There's a few towns I'll walk up to and be like, right, this is just this could be better.
Do you have
And
any?
there's others I walk into like I'd be like, this is really nice.
Would you like name any towns in specific that could be either way?
I'm not going to just for the sake of I don't want any more people annoyed at me for things. Um,
Ah, I see.
but I mean, you know, everyone's got their preferences. It's
Hmm.
for other people. If the person who built it likes it, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
I see. Now,
It's not for anyone else.
another thing I'd like to ask you is that you're definitely well versed in a lot of movecraft and a lot of naval capabilities. Now, I am not that. In fact, I would venture so far to say that I'm quite possibly the exact opposite of that. Do you have any new tales of like current metas when it regards to uh land movecraft and naval meta?
I mean, I've started seeing Rome pushing into guys' boxes on their IFVs. I thought that was interesting.
Really? Why is
Yeah,
this?
yeah. I think when you're not in a periscope, it actually puts them into combat tags. Well, so it like stops them from placing a banner. But it's an interesting thing. It's a bit it's a bit scummy to be honest, but it's a thing.
Are any other nations doing this besides Rome?
Not that I know of at the moment. Or none of the ones I'm around, anyways.
Let's see. Do you think they're doing this purely just so they can get that? You said it was banner placement mainly. Do you think that's the key reason?
Yeah,
I see. Are there any other
I don't see that.
Yeah, are there any other odd things in that regard? I mean, like, I don't keep well versed with it at all. You're probably a little bit more versed in it than me.
Yeah, I mean, I recently seen someone had messaged me saying about how they'd seen an IFV cannon that was completely encased and it was still
Wow.
able to shoot. And I thought that was just weird. I mean,
That
if there's nothing wrong with it, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I'm not going to argue against it if there's nothing wrong with it. But it was like there's something maybe slightly wrong with it to me.
hmm there definitely seems to be a function. There definitely has turned to be a lot more of a focus on functionality, and there's always been sort of a thing to making like the most armor and the most packed in
I
vehicle. So
mean,
I
yeah,
think,
there's ways to get the absolute most armor you can get, but it also depends on the purpose. Like, what are you using it for? Like, I mean, there's no point having something that's like a heavy tank that's got all the armor in the back if you're firing from the front.
yeah, for
It's,
sure. And when it comes to an IFV, and if you're completely covering the cannon, then that seems almost a bit of a waste.
well, no, it means your cannon's not going to get drilled as much because
Right.
there's more blocks to have to shoot through.
hmm That is fair. I mean, I wouldn't particularly say I'm a genius when it comes to IFV design, but it just seems very odd to me to want to pack that much on. And it just to me, it looks kind of funky.
Yeah, I mean, you can only armor like heavy tanks cannons so much
hmm
without putting a like a shroud over it, which I'm not exactly sure is entirely legal. But
Yeah. And obviously, you want to both have the most functionality with the most legality, although typically
yeah,
that sort of thing never looks aesthetically pleasing at all.
yeah, I mean, it's really up to the designer's build style.
hmm
Like, I mean, whether V goes for goes for a bit of a balance between like the most functional and also the nicer looking. Whereas on the opposite side, Elliot goes for like pure function. There's not much in terms of aesthetics on there. It's all purpose built.
See, I that just rubs me the wrong way. It just look. so off. I
Yeah,
guess,
I mean, I like a bit of aesthetics, but I mean, if you really want to win everything, then be my guest.
and like the main thing though is if you want to win everything, then it's even the best tank. If it's piloted by the worst person, you're not going to get very far. So I feel
I,
like at a certain point,
not entirely.
really? I mean, like I feel like at a certain point, it's almost entirely about the pilot inside the tank rather than the tank they're using.
I, well, yeah, yeah, but I mean, even the best of pilot can make the worst of tanks, or
Hmm.
like the worst of tanks well used. So
In my room, I see. Sure. Yeah, I think just when it comes to Movecraft in general, there's been kind of sways both ways. I mean, like obviously there are a lot of people who try and keep it more aesthetically pleasing, more looking better. Although I think there's definitely been, especially when it comes to just military stuff, a big sway to functionality. And I'm not sure if that's because of new mechanic or if that's just because more people have become so well versed with everything that now it has to become functionality which wins the battle.
I'm not really sure. It's just up to how it's swayed. It's more someone's motivation to win all the time. You know.
Hmm.
I mean, no one likes losing, right? No one likes losing.
Yeah, it's true.
But I mean,
And I think,
there's ways to going about managing losing.
hmm
Like if I get, see if I take one of my brand new destroyers that I've just printed the other day there. If I take one of them out in a region and I get sunk with it, I mean, it's not to me. It's not the end of the world
I see.
because you just make a new one, just print a new one, and or it's not have someone else print a new one, and it's like
But especially
it's
with
not.
some nations, though, printing a new one isn't always availability. And like obviously you'll have like the big countries like Rome and Thracia, which can pop out another one in like literally seconds. But sometimes you do need those destroyers not to be blown up.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, like I mean, mining for redstone and mining for gold is not the most entertaining of things, and I don't personally partake in it myself because my redstone stores have been filled up from nicking everything. But
Hmm.
I could
Sure,
use it more to be honest.
I see. Yeah, and especially when you redstone farm for like, I don't even know, 8 hours on end and something, like you're gonna get bored of it. You're not gonna want to print 5,000 vehicles anymore.
Oh no, I can't even bring myself to go gold mine. Whenever I need money, I just go silver farm. It's not, and even silver farming to me is actually just like it's just so boring.
It's very
I'm not
monotonous. Like you're out there,
I'm not.
it, just like you're out there and you're doing it for hours. And sure, what's the thing? Like the best silver farm can get you 10K in 30 minutes, but it's like
Yeah,
I
I mean,
could be spending.
you can get a silver farm for 10k in 30 minutes, but what's the point? Because you've still got to run up and do it. You still got to run up and do it also.
Yeah. And it's like you could be spending that time doing something valuable instead of just sitting there constantly sifting through things and gaining money.
Yeah, well, it does like, and then then you have all the silver, or you put all your silver away, you put your stacks and stacks of silver away, and then I don't know, they one day move away from having such a silver dominance, really,
Hmm.
and now you've got stacks upon stacks of which is essentially now a useless ingot. So,
Oh yeah.
but I mean, they
And like
reduce the
that,
value. You could just farm more of it, so it's not.
yeah, and that's what makes gold farming ultimately highly efficient because like they're probably not going to. You'd have more insight than this on me. Move away
Mm.
from gold and stuff, but like still it's just so laborious and like painful.
Yeah, I mean, bring yourself a like a small auto anvil setup and a few hundred explosive pickaxes, and
Oh yeah.
you'll go and find all the gold. But I mean, I don't particularly see the interest in mining lots and lots of gold.
Hmm. Unless
It's
you
it's
plan
not
on like unless you
unless I suddenly go broke one day and it's like I must gain money, otherwise it's over.
no, or unless you plan on building a giant gold statue of yourself.
You can't even print gold, so I'll just build it by hand.
Yeah, I mean fair, but I'm sure there's someone out there who's trying to build a gold statue of themselves.
Yeah, so I'm a bit of a cheapskate when it comes to money. I don't like spending money.
Hmm. Well,
Oh,
I don't really understand a lot of people when they like just mine. Well, like they'll say like, oh, I just want to mine all this gold, or I want to silver farm all this time, so I don't have to grind to build stuff. I can just buy it. But like then you're just grinding something different. Doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything at all.
yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're still sitting at the end behind a slime fun machine trying to make some crazy material, whether it's blackstone or whether or not it's silver.
Yeah, I honestly wish when it comes to like redstone, I wish there was a bit more of a sustainable way to go about redstone. Like I understand why gold isn't a renewable resource,
Hmm.
but because it would just ruin the money and stuff. But like
Yeah.
honestly, if there was a more if even if it took tons of energy or something, if there was a bit of a more intuitive way to get even just a wee bit of redstone, then it
Yeah.
wouldn't that would be nice, you know.
And obviously
Maybe it's
there,
just a sign.
yeah, like well, there are even machines out there that like you can make that will produce infinite energy. And I think that might be one of the key reasons people don't try and make redstone any easier to collect because like they may say, well, if you can create this so amount of energy, then like you can have infinite redstone, and that might be a little unbalanced.
Yeah. Honestly, I think even if they don't make like redstone slime funnable, see if they added like an underground drill thing that you could build and it used like I don't know iron blocks and it needed it needed like buckets of fuel.
Hmm.
See if it's like something like that. It moved really slow. It drilled maybe like your radius of iron blocks, but it could only be like so big.
Yeah,
If it was something like that, it definitely make mining a whole lot like a wee bit more interesting to be honest. Because going out with an explosive pickaxe and a small slime fun setup isn't exactly the most
yeah,
interesting thing, and it's not really fun if you've got a I don't know if there's a naval region coming up and everyone's away on holiday or something, and you've got to sit there and or like everyone who normally does it's away on holiday, and all your pilots want to go do the region and that. It's like you got to go dig all this redstone. It's like it's ignore the background noise. Um,
oh no, you're fine. It,
yeah.
but like, yeah,
One of the one of these days you'll say the N. You'll just shout the N one day I'm talking to somebody, and that will be that. And honestly, God,
yeah,
it's
that's actually very funny. But like, yeah, I guess with like drills and stuff, like if you were to theoretically, like the bigger the drill and you just spend time on behind it, I guess it would be probably a
yeah.
little bit
Like
more entertaining than because
the more iron blocks you put, the more fuel it uses, or something like. It's not
yeah,
something a bit more intuitive than just drilling out tunnels upon tunnels for thousands and thousands of blocks, all for the lustrous red glowing ore.
yeah,
It's
yeah. And especially the other thing with drills is that it would make it so much easier to make like large gaps if you want to make like an underground tunnel or something. Because obviously an
uh,
explosive pickaxe will only get you so big of a tunnel, but like
I,
when
yeah,
when
I
it comes
keep
to
printing
something
in
like a
these. I keep
drill,
printing in these bunkers and that, and
yeah,
because obviously I can't store all my tanks above ground because I just don't have the space nor the aesthetic pleasure to do so.
hmm,
So
and like
I've just massive thing underground.
yeah, and like I guess just digging it. Well, monogamous, I mean, like, with something like Slime Fun, which is designed to stream daytime stuff, then you may
I,
say, like, well, what's the point?
but it's not. I don't think Slime Fun's really to streamline it. It's more of a kind of it's more of a kind of vanilla plus sort of way. It's more of an automation for your basic things, going out mining tons of deep slate for that one big build you want to do.
I see. I guess that's true, but, like, when it comes to stuff like that, I always viewed the purpose of Slime Fun is to make it, quicker, make it more automized, instead of having players, sit underneath the ground for, like, days on end, digging deep slate.
Yeah, but,
And,
but
like,
obviously with that you don't want to have it so that you can just sit in front of a Slime Fun machine and do it because then there's no risk. There's all the reward and there's therefore a massive surplus of this redstone, for
hmm
example.
yeah. And I think the thing is and that's like the reason there isn't like a depositable gold machine or something like that. And I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
mean, I
like,
understand. I understand why you can't have I understand why you can't have like cargo stuff from Flying Fun on Nations. It's fair enough.
hmm
And I wish I could take stuff out of dye extractors, but on the other hand, it's not a big deal.
yeah. And like, if you completely remove the human part of having to click something and then put it in and then take it out and put it back in, then you just make things that are like so highly automized that you can just leave on for like
Yeah,
a day, and suddenly the next day you're just going to be rich, and then there's no point because you never worked for it.
yeah.
And like, with those sort of things, like, sure, that's fine and all that, but like it can be a little bit game breaking, especially if people don't know how to do that.
Oh yeah,
And when you have something as simple as like uh a silver farmer or something simple like a igneous processor, like, then everyone can do it. There's no like wall that stops people, no knowledge wall.
yeah.
And that's obviously one of the key benefits of Slime Farm. It's not particularly hard to learn.
Oh, to be fair, when you're new to the server, it can be quite overwhelming. But
hmm Well, when you're a new player, it's always a little bit overwhelming whenever you have any kind of mod set on a server. But
oh yeah,
compared to other systems, Slime Fun is definitely a much easier to learn compared to, like, I don't know, something, trying to think of other automation mods.
like applied energistics or
Oh yeah, definitely.
mechanism.
hmm
I mean, I've,
It
I've played all the mods 10. I don't understand most of it, but
I mean, like,
I've got
honestly,
jetpacks.
Slime Fun is even easier than like the one educational Minecraft thing that they produced. Because, like, sure, it may not and be entirely based in reality. Like, obviously, in the real world, you don't have a machine that just makes a bunch of stone for you, but it still feels easy and accurate, and like you can within like a day or two, and like a good teacher, you can learn how to do essentially anything in Slime Fun.
Oh yeah,
Although, obviously, you'll always have new players which are kind of scared of it or don't know how to use it at first and don't have a good teacher.
yeah.
And that's
So if
definitely,
sometimes I feel bad for the new players, and sometimes I don't. I mean, I wish you could. I wish it was easier to recruit. I wish it was more benefit. Like I wish it was easier to recruit people and have them, you know, opt into the recruit bonus and ranking up in sieges and all that. Because really, if you're not just pulling your mates off of some other server or some other place, and it's like it is what it is.
the
But
thing is,
okay.
it's like so difficult to recruit somebody and like really well teach somebody that you don't know from like other servers or other things, because you don't know if they're gonna work. You don't know if they're gonna do what, like, you don't know if they're gonna build, if they're gonna farm, and then you end up kind of sitting there thinking, well, how much do I give them? What am I gonna lose? There's like a big risk to it.
that's not even what goes through my head. Like, I mean, if you have your permissions set up properly, the new player's not going to steal anything, right? Not going to get grief anything. Give them if they've got their own movecraft plot. Not their own movecraft plot, but if they've got their own town plot, then they're not gonna agree. They might build something that's not particularly the most aesthetically pleasing,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, but it is a little bit harder, especially if that person like, oh, this is their first Geo poll server, their first like server with a tech mod like Slime Fun or any of the other ones. It's a little bit hard to teach them how to get it to work and to get it rolling.
yeah.
And like if you're inexperienced with those things, like I always feel bad for the mayor who doesn't quite know how to use Slime Fun himself, but has a bunch of new players that want to learn. Because then at that point, then like, what do you do?
I mean, yeah.
Like besides going out to like a nation leader or something, there's not much that you can do to teach them.
Yeah,
And like, with the exception of just having like a vanilla server, there's no way of getting around that. And
yeah.
that's
But I
always,
mean, you've got all the wikis, you've got all the resources.
mhm.
You've all the documentation is publicly available. So I mean,
And like, shout out to whoever makes that sort of stuff, because like, personally, I would not be where I am today without any of the CCNet wikis. If the CCNet wiki did not exist, then oh shoot.
oh, the CCNet wiki's nice.
Oh yeah. It's
Like I
so helpful. Just
like I joined in another server just for the fun of it. Just wanted to see what it was like.
mhm,
Because I mean, CCNet's really the only like kind of server I've like really played, to be honest.
mhm.
So tried my hand somewhere else. It wasn't a PV. It wasn't like a mad PvP server or nothing. So the wiki for that server was not very comprehensive, let's say, and well formatted.
Mhm. And like we have the benefit of having really just a very great set of people who are able to actually make a well comprehensive wiki.
Yeah.
And I mean without
Well,
that, like geez, we have a lot less new players coming in.
to be fair, to be fair, like not having the wiki, I think is more to do with player retention than it is that like getting people to join because people from what I've seen recently, it's been there's moving ships. Or you guys have townie, and it's like yeah, we do. And they're like
Hmm.
cool, and then they play for a bit, and then they either go into a really bad town, don't like it, and quit, or they go into a good town, don't like it, and quit. They steal everything or get banned, and it's like, well, what are you gonna do about it? I mean, you can't.
You can't fix it.
Yeah, there's no easy fix to
Yeah.
such.
And I mean like out of the 100, I don't even know how many new players join CCNet a day. Like
I think there's a, I think there's like a good few. I think there's a good few a day,
I don't know,
but I'm not convinced many of them stay.
yeah. Well, it's like out of the 50 new players that join a day, you'll maybe get like 10 or like 10 or 20 that stay for like a month. And then out of that 10 or 20, you'll get like two or three that will stick around on the server for like a long time.
Mm, I don't know.
It's interesting because
Depends. Yeah, it depends. But it depends where they end up and all that, and how they
mhm, and what
do
nations they're in and what resources
what.
they have to them.
Yeah, nations, town, care, like mere attention.
Yeah. And like
Like
the
I
other
mean,
thing is I think people who join with like a set of people, like a group, those will always have a little bit more retention even if it's just one person who comes out of the group, if like a new group of players forms a town, I think that will usually stick around longer than just recruiting. But I could be
Yeah.
wrong on that. I'm not sure. I wouldn't call myself particularly well versed in new player
Eh,
joinees.
honestly, I've recruited a little bit in my time, but it's not. I've not had much success. I tried for a while, like babysitting every new player that comes along, teaching them everything Movecraft. Well, not really Movecraft. If I'm going to be honest, I never had the space in the town that I recruited him for them to learn Movecraft.
Hmm.
Like so, like basic slime fun and just generally how all the server all works. And I had a few like active people. They played for a wee bit, and they kind of just up and left
Yeah.
after a few weeks. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like, out of the people that I've recruited in my time, it's mostly like either new joins and then like I give them a plot and then I never see them again, or every once in a while I'll get somebody who like is really good, really interested, really wants to do like siege stuff. Like obviously that's not really my prerogative, so like I'll get them set up, I'll give them a plot, I'll show them how to work some machines, but then suddenly they're off to like the next bigger, larger town with more people and more money and more resources.
yeah.
So I think that,
I notice a lot of like new players end up in Siberium. I don't know
oh
anything
yeah,
about Siberium, but I don't know
yeah,
anything about like what it's like in Siberium. But I'm sure it's nice if they're all joining.
yeah. Although I think like there's a certain select amount of players who join CCNet for to do like sieges and to do like fighting and stuff that don't know anybody, and I think those people always end up going to like the top of these nations really, really quickly, and then
Mm.
they like become like one of their PvPers, and then they'll show up every 2 to 3 months to go fight a battle. And it's like, I get it, but sometimes I think it's that's not really like the purpose, and I think that's hard, and I think that makes it hard for a lot of smaller towns to recruit people.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't consider my town small, but I would like another person just to kind of bounce about and stuff. And
Hmm. And like, like a lot of people who do are very active and always work on. They're not here for like the upkeep a town and let's build a thing and like keep the
yeah,
streets clean.
they're usually here for the PvP. In a
Yeah,
sense.
they're here for the siege
Yeah.
work and the move craft and the grind. And it's like a lot of these smaller towns, they can't really offer that. And I think that's
Yeah.
why so many small towns will crop up and then they'll like kind of fade off because like they'll end up down to like one or two good people who like don't really know the like top siege stuff, and then they end up just sitting in the town kind of alone for a while.
Yeah, and then like depending on the willpower of the person, they'll either just they'll just straight up quit after that, and they'll be left in the nation or whatever to fund everything. But
Hmm.
eh,
I mean, that's kind of been my situation for like the past year. I sit here, I can't really get anybody to come on and do much, so I just make papers, make money, deal move crafts every once in a while, print out a building, blow up a tunnel, the things.
yes.
Try and acquire vast quantities of TNT and double chests.
I don't know. Another thing that's kind of annoyed me is money making, like just making money in general is kind of annoyed me.
Hmm. Well, I always found like
Tried my hand at designing, didn't sell
yeah,
anything.
it like when it comes to design and just like it's always and you got to find your thing. Especially that's what I've always said. Like whether it's
Oh yeah,
PvP,
definitely.
like yeah, because if you don't find that, then you're not going to be able to stay on the server for too long. Because then really you don't really have any much purpose of having fun if you don't know what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, like, personally, me, I know what I want to do. It's just I've got no motivation to do any of it. So it's like, why bother building my town when I can just kind of
Sit in your
selectively build sections of it as required?
yeah, and like the other thing along with that is like especially if you're like I don't know if you're like in architecture or something and you don't grind and you don't want to grind, then you won't have any money to print anything. And then it's like,
Um,
well, shoot, now I gotta do the thing that I don't want to do, and then it sucks.
that's oh, you're in there. Like, I mean, building by hand's not as bad as it can make. It's not as bad as it seems when you
Yeah.
get into it. Like, I mean, for example, the port town of XYZ built that by hand for the most part, minus the bits where I required world edit
Hmm.
to
I
to
see.
do the mad to put things where they really shouldn't be. Um,
Huh.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I'll,
mean, like, I think printing originally was like for the purpose of like forts and stuff, because nobody wants to hand build a entire fort. That's horrible.
yeah, it's really just it's really to speed up the kind of monotony of having to build a 20 million block fortress because
Yeah.
in a week's time there will be 400 cannons waiting for you on one end. But
Hmm.
yeah,
The one
there
thing
hasn't.
that like when I first discovered like printing like way back when, I remember thinking like you could build like suburbs with printing because like
Oh, you could.
in like any westernized country like a suburb is filled with the same looking houses with like maybe a different color palette or like but otherwise they're almost entirely like the same, so
Identical, yeah. It's
like you could totally like build a full-on suburbia in CCNet if you wanted to.
you could. You just have to find the 400 people to, inflate your claims with. So it's just.
Yeah. And with that, you'd have to find the 400K to pay for those claims.
Sounds, yeah, well.
That's the other thing that kind of shocks me with some places. Like some of these towns are just huge. And like I get it, like it's a full nation, but like places like Texas or like Konigsberg or like
Yeah, I mean,
I don't get it. Like Halifax, like there's like like 50
to
people in
me,
it. The upkeep is like $2,000 a day. It's crazy.
I mean, I mean, going to be honest, Texas is a wee bit obsessive. Mm, But not to
Sorry.
say that's the only, not to say that's the only town that's really excessive, but there's a few quite
Yeah.
big towns. I mean, I
I
wouldn't
really like I really don't get
want to be paying
why
1K in
someone
upkeep per day, but I also don't want to sit there with a town
well the thing is
with no
like
buildings.
yeah, that too. I
And
don't
you
get
cut out again if you're
the
saying stuff.
yeah, like when you claim 5,000 different chunks, then like some of these people will not be able to recruit a lot and they'll just be empty for like months. I don't get that.
Yeah,
It's just like,
and way back when overclaim was a thing, where if you didn't have the residents to pay for the amount of chunks you had, you
yeah,
use money. I'm going to be honest, I quite enjoy not having overclaim because it means that I don't have to, I don't know, start playing Roblox again after 14 years.
yeah. It's that's
Play
an
sitting there on Roblox, being like, "Hey, I know this Minecraft server you can do pretty much what you're doing right now in Roblox, but it's on Minecraft." It's like, well,
that's another
and
like
then you end
weird.
up with this.
That's such like a weird thing too. Like the amount of people that I've noticed who I know are like well over the age of like 20 who play Roblox and talk about it is kind of crazy to me. Like,
Each to their own. The customer's always right, matters of taste and stuff, but
uh-huh.
mm,
Like, it's just, it's so, like, I don't want to say weird, but like, it is odd.
it's definitely like a bit of a weird thing. I mean,
Uh-huh. And like,
yeah,
just, it confuses me sometimes because like, people will be like, "Oh, yeah, I'm playing Roblox," and I really don't get the appeal. Like, I get there's
I
fun servers, there's something for everybody, but I just don't get it. It doesn't rhyme well with me.
honestly, the Roblox I once knew and the Roblox I once kind of
Uh-huh.
liked to peruse for the games is not the same Roblox as now. The Roblox now is more that kind of that AI generated slop,
Oh
that
yeah.
content with that content purely for the money and not for the passion or the care about it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't know. I don't particularly think Roblox is much better. It's not better in terms of like the people on it. There's a lot
Uh,
of there's a lot of unsightly. There's a lot of kind of unsightly people on there.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
And there are so many people who will go on there and like you can tell there are a lot of like money grubbing servers and stuff that are just there because they didn't really care about making it. They just want to get people to buy stuff. And it's like,
I mean,
ah,
if there's no passion in doing it, if there's no passion in whatever you're doing, then what's the point of doing it?
yeah. And it's like
Like,
it
I
like this
mean,
I heard this one quote. It was like a C.S. Lewis thing. And he said like, sure, an artist might make something for the money, but they still like to do art. And like some people will just make these servers purely for monetary value, and they never even play on them ever, or even look at their player base.
yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes life gets in the way, and you can't sit there all the time. You can't sit there all the time, and just
Oh
review
yeah,
how the world you have made is going. But
yeah,
you know,
oh,
like if you're one day going to change something, you probably want to know how your player base feels about what has to be changed, and
yeah,
and you want kind of like a varied set of opinions about it. You don't you like if you're going to change like I don't know a big feature. I don't know if you're gonna I don't know abolish towning and replace it with something else. For example, um, you'd probably want to see what people who build towns would think, and people who build towns, people who recruit in towns. What would they think about
uh-huh,
it?
yeah,
And I mean that's the same. That's the same for everything. You change Movecraft. You probably want to know what the Movecrafters think.
yeah. And
Is
if you
are
change it
these too
without
overpowered?
yeah, and if you change it without talking to the player base, then usually you'll end up kind of getting
Yeah, you end
flipped
up
on.
you kind of alienate them. It's
Like,
mm-hmm.
because like if you don't consult your player base, then you're gonna end up with something they don't like, and then they're gonna be pissed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, it's not just about consulting the player base. You want to consult. Like all kind of like a good set of people for your player base. Like you don't want people who are all friends with each other who will all push the same opinion just because they want like I don't, like their Roblox game to be a paradise for just them,
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
and it's
It's I don't even know what to say. It's just off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, anyway, with that, we're closing in now onto the hour mark of our interview today. With that, I'm just gonna pan quick. We do
is
have
it the the return of the shameless plugin that hasn't been in the last like maybe 3 or 4 interviews.
Oh wait. Okay, wait, no, this is time for the shameless plugin. This is shameless
It is.
marketing time. So first of all, if you are listening in for an hour, then this shameless plugin is perfectly devised because the public is not supposed to know about this. But for some time, I have been altering the town of Secret Evil Empire to build in what I want to call S.E.E. hide and seek. On the S.E.E. anniversary, which is in the first week of June, I believe, I plan on hosting a massive gala for all world leaders from any corner of every continent. And I want to hold a massive hide and seek event because I think Secret Evil Empire was built on an old bunker, which was built on an old bunker, which was covered in tunnels and holes. And I proceeded to build a town, and then I covered it with another town. So there's so many layers of enshrining cubby holes and hiding spaces. So that's all I've thought. It's going to be a beautiful hide and seek event. So that's the shameless plug-in today. We're plugging in S.E.E. hide and seek.
Sounds quite interesting to be honest.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I don't think it's ever been done. And because a lot of people will say, oh, you have to give trust to everybody. But as long as you make hiding spots that don't require like
You
opening a
don't even you
door
don't
to get
even
in.
don't even need trust. Just quarters. Split your area into quarters. You know, have
Oh yeah.
this 2 block quarter just for this one door. You know,
Oh yeah, you could definitely do that. Ooh, wait, that's
I had
actually a
someone
good
call
idea.
me. I had someone call me a genius the other day for that one.
Oh wait. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down real quickly. But yeah.
Like, like the world's your oyster, and you can do what you want within reason.
hmm Yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
mean,
obviously, you don't want
uh,
50,000 quarters in like four chunks, but
uh,
yeah.
yeah. Well, wait, how are you gonna fit in 50,000 quarters in 4 chunks, really?
You're, well, you'd be
Without
surprised.
without without them being like one like ridiculously small. I mean,
Yeah, obviously. But anyway, I'm gonna open this point up in the interview up to questions. So obviously we have one viewer going in, and while
I
we're
don't.
looking at any questions from the audience, Vec, do you have any questions for me?
Ah, can't say I do.
Intriguing.
So,
Good
I never come with
questions.
questions prepared.
What was
Maybe I
that?
should too. I never come with questions prepared for anything. Maybe I should, to be honest, but I never come with questions prepared.
I mean, personally, I
Mm.
never come with questions prepared to anything. It kind of flies off the top of my head.
Yeah.
One thing I have been told, and again, this is only for viewers who are truly diehard fans that will stick in for nearly an hour and 3 minutes, is I've been told several times that all of the interviews need backgrounds and like I should put
Actually,
in
I was thinking about this. Actually, I was thinking about this the other day. I was
yeah.
saying, you know, what if I could say a thing which required an image and you could put it on screen?
hmm Something
I
for
mean,
the person to look at.
yeah, yeah.
And
Like even if it's just like a dynamic thing of like, for example, for this interview, you know, you could pan over the map of Sun Harvest or something. Or I don't know, set about in game and just do that cinematic camera thing.
hmm I've definitely thought about it. And again, this is only for the diehard viewers. I have been uh plunging around for old computer equipment that I've have. And because the problem is with my current laptop and the software I use, I don't have the extensions in order to like in order to do video. So I've been using my other monitor to try and figure out how to do video. And I have found the correct stuff. So in the near future, interviews most likely will be seeing like either a PvP background or just map panning or a cinematic thing, but there will be something that comes eventually.
I mean, ideally, it would be something kind of related to the thing you're talking about, unless it's like general chit
Indeed.
chat.
I mean, like, we've discussed staff-wise a few times back and forth, like, oh, do we just want to put
Yeah.
like a Helldivers video on, or do we just want to, or do we want to use like what I'm actually doing while the interview goes on, which is like looking around the map,
Send you a picture of that
zooming in, poking around.
statue about myself, and you could have that.
Yeah, I mean, that is true.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, closing in to now an hour and five
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. So I watched the interview and with TNT, right? And you were talking about how I purposely laid out things.
What were you saying?
I don't. You'd said I'd laid out a howitzer truck or something like very purposely in
Oh
your
yeah.
interview with TNT. And I'm
There
not exactly sure which one you're talking about.
there is a howitzer truck, and I have it in S.E.E. And I remember back to the first interview I did with you. I went to Sun Harvest during the interview, and I saw that howitzer truck, and like genuinely, I'm not. You can answer this, but did you put out it's a green and brown howitzer truck. It's small, and it has a howitzer in the back. Did you purposely put that
I know
out?
it. Uh, no, I just stole it and helped became part of the pile.
Ah, I
Um,
see. But I remember thinking, I definitely printed that truck at some period of time. And
no,
it could have
I
been,
do. I do enjoy messing with people. I remember back like ages ago in ETM days. I used to mess about with you all the time. Where I used to like just nick stuff from your town and just stick it in closest towns, and it'd be like hilarious, man. And you'd never know.
uh,
Obviously, you
I,
do now, but it was hilarious.
yeah, I do remember there was one time, I'm not sure if it was ETM days, but it might have been someone from Cultist, and I'd built a wall in S.E.E., but I didn't put it in flames. So someone just dug a massive hole in the side of a wall and put a sign that said "Oops." I still, to this day, do not know who did that,
I
but
don't think I put the sign there, but I had to get the move rift out somehow.
that is
The
true.
gate,
You might,
the gate was in claims, so I could just.
yeah. I remember I had
Oh,
just figured out how to put in the gate, and I was so proud of it. And then I wake up the next day and half the wall is missing.
no, I like the stuff you can do with BDM. I wish there wasn't such a restriction on it, but obviously I get why there's a restriction on it.
Oh
So I
yeah,
imagine it
I
would.
mean,
I imagine it would lag out the thing if someone had like 300 BDMs and they could just have them all going.
yeah, but like you have to have that. It's just yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I do like BDMs. BDMs are quite fun. Like for a while, I had this what are they called? Can't remember what they're called, but like, you know the things when you go up to a toll booth and they've got that bar, that kind
uh,
of.
yes. Oh,
Yeah.
what?
I had one of those for a while. That was like my first BDM, or maybe my second BDM.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Obviously, when Corgula fell and the town was griefed, they couldn't break it, which was brilliant because it kind of because it looked nice with everything else, even though everything else was wrecked.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, like obviously after it fell, it was like
yeah.
it looked like a war zone a little bit. Like
So, honestly, what a waste! Like it's such a waste of grief and everything. Like I get if it's a siege base or something that's a siege base, you really hate siege bases or something. You've got
hmm
something out against siege bases, you go and grief siege base, scrap it or whatever, fine. But just randomly detonating off parts of towns where there's not really any loot or anything is it's
yeah,
a bit shit to be honest. Because at the end of the day, either someone's going to have to someone's going to have to world edit that back, and anyone's going to have to take time out their day to world edit that back, or
yeah.
someone's going to have to fix it. Like
Just
it's
a
a bit of shit.
waste.
Yeah.
And like I remember when it fell. There were like explosions in the town's parking lot, and it's like, who would spend that amount of time just
Yeah.
to blow up a chunk of deep slate? I don't get it.
Mm,
Like, if it's a siege base or something, like, yeah, totally. Like, you've been fighting it for the past, I don't know how many
yeah.
days, but like,
Yeah, for the past who knows how long, you want it gone. Sick of
mhm,
the sight of it.
yeah. And also, siege bases aren't particularly
Oh,
good
tell me about it.
looking.
Tell me about it. I hate the design of most siege bases nowadays.
They're like
It's,
big
they're
boxes.
just they're so uninteresting. Like the one on the theory one is literally just a basalt box with some stuff on the wall. It's like cool, mate. You've reused a part of the other siege base which never had much effort put into it, and
Hmm.
you decided you're going to put some stone slabs and an iron bars on it and call it a day. Like, come on, bit of effort. I want something grand. If you're going to come and siege something grand,
Oh yeah,
you got to make the opposition to it grand. It's like that. It's like that Vauxhall advert for the people in the UK where they were advertising their Vauxhall Grandland, where they said if you're going to call it grand, you've got to make it grand.
yeah. Well, it's
Well, it's
like that.
Vauxhall, so it's not very grand, but
Yeah. Well, it's like with the forts too. Like forts are like made beautifully, and then like
well,
you'll have, well,
yeah.
most of them look
Here
pretty.
or there, here or there.
Yeah,
Leveling for a while was quite unsightly.
that is true.
I think they've fixed most of it now. I think it's alright. I think they've fixed most of it now.
Hmm. Yeah, but like,
I'm not a fan of the deep slate bricks with the minimal texturing and the kind of the kind of purpose over the aesthetic. Like I mean, it's nice to have the purpose,
yeah, but like
but I'd like it
some
to look
forts,
nice too.
although some forts definitely really do look nice. Like if you look at Trinity in ATM, like that's a very nice looking fort. And then like some country will come along and siege it and just build like a big plastic looking box and load it with a bunch of cannons. It's like,
I'm pretty sure that's what they've done for the Trinity Siege base is
yeah,
literally just like a smooth stone box
I mean that's like
with like with a with a basalt floor, and it's like, well, I know it's on a mountain, guys, but
that is literally what is happening though. They're just building a giant box and they're gonna shoot at it.
who
And it's like it's the same with Nova Prospect. It's just like Floritania's
cares?
built,
End of the day,
yeah. I mean like you can't stop it. Like it's gonna happen. But
yeah.
come on.
I also kind of wish each fort had its own like unique thing. Like I mean, Africanus, Trillium, and the new one is pretty much the exact same thing, maybe with different colors or something. Maybe with a different bunker, but like you're only going to see the bunker if you drill down to it.
Hmm. And
So,
you know,
I
like
mean, I feel, like I feel like instead of reasoning for designs, you may mix up. Maybe if you're going to use the same shape, you can mix up a bit more on the colors and the materials. Different
yeah.
style, different theming.
Yeah, well back in the day, like some forts used to be like really like designed to a nation. Like I remember like Varpa is a very good example. Like it looks
Oh,
like
Varka was a
that's
nice fort.
arguably
Honestly, personally, I'm more of a fan of MV Pan's work than I am with the new shell. But the new shell, but obviously, like the original shell of ARPA wasn't very siege ready.
no.
So
Well, there was a time
they
period
had kind of
where
you had to solve.
there definitely was a time period where Varpa wasn't even a fort. It was just like a masterpiece, a mosaic.
Oh, yeah. And it was that for quite a while, but
Mhm. But like there's also something weird in South America where all of the forts have the country's flag on top of them. I don't know what that's about.
and it was nice as well. It was nice, I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cut out again.
But like if you look at the South American forts, with the exception of the one Peru one, it's like they all have flags on top of them. I don't get why, but they do.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out there, but
Oh, am
I
I
can
cutting
see,
off?
I can kind of get the gist of what you're getting at there with the with kind of how they've got like kind of flat flags and all that, and
Yeah,
they're all
it's weird.
quite
Yeah, yeah. My audio's been acting up
yeah.
recently. I don't get it. Alright. Well,
I don't
with
know. I was
that,
thinking just my internet connection, man, like connection's fine. So,
well, it's a sea away. Like
oh
you're in
yeah,
Scotland,
yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah. The Discord's got their servers in each region, so, and all that.
yeah. Well, with that, we are closing in to now an hour and 15 minutes, and I do believe this has eclipsed the previous time, and this is the longest interview ever conducted on the S.E.E. page.
And since I've got the time, I'm going to keep it going because last time it was cut short because I didn't really have the time to continue yapping on about stuff.
That is true.
But now I've got
Usually this is odd because like a lot of the interviews I've done, like
the time.
typically the longer the interview, the worse that it does, like it gets less views. But like the last TNT of like the last TN like when I did an interview of TNT, that was an hour. And that has 104 views, which is the most I've gotten in quite some time. So I don't
To
know.
be fair, I think the interviews are becoming more of a more of a thing now. I think they're becoming more of like a thing people are interested in. Whereas when they started off,
Hmm.
they didn't have particularly high traction. Now they're quite big to be honest. No,
Yeah, and I
it's nice. It's nice to see that community engagement. It's nice to see.
oh yeah. And I think I started interviewing a little bit more interesting people because there was a time period in between uh like I'd say my MV Pan interview or like your interview I'd say, and then
Mm.
like the last interviews I started with Solo Duck where I did like four different people that like no one's ever really heard of. So it was like that was a bit of a lull in the time period. Like obviously I think now it's begun to pick back up, and like I've been consistently getting with like the last four interviews more than 50 views or more than 60 views even. And I think the community's kind of coming back to it. And I think there's just been a lot of
Maybe it'll
stuff that's been going on. So,
help your recruiting and all that as well for all those claims for your hide and seek thing.
oh yeah, I mean, I think definitely at people who have been, and like the other thing is watch time is going up. So now I can say comfortably there will probably be 5 or 10 people that hear that shameless plugin, and that's gonna build up
Yeah,
because like then next interview is gonna be 4 times shorter, and I'm gonna plug in that shameless plugin. Now you're gonna get 20 people who hear it, so it's a catalyst. It's a catalyst.
yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is with like analytics and stuff, and this is really weird, is watch time like consistently is 20 minutes. Like every video, like even the ones that are like 21 minutes have like a sharp decline at minute 20. I don't know what it
I think I
is.
think I think the interesting conversation kind of ends. When you're talking to a nation leader like Solo Duck, because I know he likes his name being said. Um, I mean, when you like eventually the conversation kind of falls off, and it's well,
Boring.
yeah, and it becomes a bit boring to watch.
Hmm.
I mean, the other day I was just watching interviews because get my head down, get some work done, put an interview on the background. There's no pictures, I can just leave it on. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I know what he's talking about. And then he goes like, and then by the end of it, he's like, what's he on about now?
Yeah. And it's like,
Hmm.
it's weird. I don't get it. But like, there are
Yeah.
definitely some people who can definitely keep the interview going. Like, I'll name drop Solo Duck again because he likes hearing his name said in interviews.
Mm.
We're also gonna name drop Ironwood because, you gotta. But like Solo Duck in like TNT with the last two interviews that I did, like those and like Snazzy Canuck too, he's Canada's leader, is like usually by like minute 30 or something, people will start to wind down and like you'll run out of things to talk about and
To
people
be
will like
fair,
pull
the
back.
end of those interviews is usually about half an hour in, so
Yeah. And then like especially at those half an hour marks, I'll be like, okay, we're gonna ask some subscriber questions. We're gonna try and get something flowing. And like
yeah.
if there isn't anybody who's like actively listening to the interview, then it's like, well, shoot, I can't inflate the time any longer. So yeah,
Yeah, you can't talk forever. That's I mean that's what it is.
no, it's impossible.
Oh yeah.
And like, it is a superpower that I wish I had, the ability to talk for hours on end, but I just don't have that.
Yeah.
What I do like it though. This is what I really like. I like it when somebody actively wants to do an interview. Like there are some
Yeah.
people like, and again, only die-hard viewers will hear this because this is now a minute, 1 hour and 20 minutes, so it's an 80-minute video now. And like, there'll be some interviewees like Fake Four. I've said this a few times. I will have to like yell at him in order to get him to even remotely consider doing an interview. Like, he gave me special perms in the Floritanian Discord, purely so I can hop in a call that he's in and remind him that he has to do an interview. Like, when it comes to that, it's very difficult to keep a conversation going.
Oh yeah. Like I mean, if there's no interest in there, there's not going to be much of a there's not going to be much of a good a quality.
Oh yeah.
Like
And
I mean,
like,
that's why that's why I'm holding off on actually building my town like properly, because I mean, if I just go in building it for the sake of building it, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna enjoy building it. I'm not gonna enjoy how it looks.
hmm
Yeah.
and nobody's gonna see it. That's the other thing.
Well, yeah. You know,
And like
eventually,
that's
eventually, should I do something so unbelievably stupid that it gets me perm banned, quit, or become an admin? It's you know, is it just going to disappear?
yeah. And like that's the other thing in relation to that. Like when I'm interviewing someone who's boring, then it's like, well, I've just wasted
Yeah, you've
20
just wasted your
minutes.
time. What's the point?
Yeah,
You're
like
like, yeah, no one's going to sign up to see the interview. No one's going to sign up to see the interview live. No one's
yeah.
going to sign up to see it early.
And it's like
No one's. They're going to think all the other interviews like that, and they're not going to watch any of them. It's like, well,
and I think I chose a few bad people, and I think that's what happened a little bit. I think that's why there was a lull in viewership because I think I put out some 14-minute interview, and people were like, "Well, what is this? Come on."
yeah, I'm going to be honest. 40-minute interview. Nothing happened there.
Oh yeah,
I don't. I don't remember which one it was, and I don't remember what happened in it. But chances are, nothing happened in it. Went on for
it
14 minutes. You know.
there was like, oh, where is it? It's the one TAC interview. There's like a civil war in some small West Coast town, and I was like, okay, this guy's gonna be fun. He's gonna be fun to have on. He's gonna give me so much material. And like, I got nothing out of it. It was the most boring interview. It got like 16 views, and it was so bad.
Yeah, I mean, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, it was like that November 10th was a day I published like four interviews, and like only two of them got more than 20 views. And
Yeah.
like there was also a time period where I was playing around with like subscriber only stuff, and that did not work out well. I mean, like,
Eh, I mean,
Like the early releases are fun. And like what I like to do is I'll post something on YouTube and then like I'll wait a day and then post it on the Discord servers because I want to see how many people see it without having me put a link out.
yeah.
Yeah, although it's interesting navigating interviewing and YouTube and
Yeah, I
keeping
mean,
up.
me personally, I haven't subscribed because of like on the off chance I don't want to attach my personal email to that. And I do have my CCNet related email, my CCNet related Google account, and honestly, I'm not on, and I don't use that like at all. Like maybe I've done two things with it.
Hmm. Yeah, and the other thing I realized, and I realized this earlier today, I was looking at some of the analytics, and in order to like put ads in videos, you need like 1,000 subscribers. And I remember
Yeah,
thinking,
you need 1,000. There's not even that many people. There's not even 1,000 people who actively play CCNet. So I get low with that one, but
yeah, I was
maybe
gonna
if you
say
get some,
like,
maybe if you get some people from the outside to.
yeah, like at maximum there are maybe 300 active CCNet players. And I was thinking, well, shoot,
Mm,
and like,
I get more around 200 some.
yeah, well,
Highest I've
at
ever seen is about
maximum.
150 people, 160, 70 people during that anniversary event was probably the highest I've ever seen it
Yeah.
in recent memory.
And like I remember thinking like, well, I've got like what, 23 subscribers? Like that's like 10% of the CCNet player base. And I just remember thinking,
Yeah.
huh, that's interesting. So like whenever I get like 100 views in something, I'm like, wow, because that means 30% of people were like, hey,
Honestly,
this is interesting.
I think if let's say you're waiting on your appeal or something, I think this is a good way to keep up with like the times if there's like a consistent kind of output.
Hmm.
It's like reading newspapers made by the community is a good way of keeping up if you're while you're waiting for like appeals to be accepted or name changes and all that. It's
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
without having to like engage with the community and kind of maybe dig yourself into a deeper grave if you're prone to doing so.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't even, yeah. It's just like when it comes to all things interview related, all things media related with CCNet, like it's all about getting as many people who play CCNet possible just aware. Because at the end of the day, I just want people in CCNet to be able to know what's going on in the whole server. Because there are so many things, and like this is the real reason behind S.E.E. paper and all that. There are so many things that happen because of miscommunication, and then
Yeah,
like nations tear themselves apart because they didn't understand someone's opinion. So that's why I started
Ye-
interviewing people. So I'm like, okay, this is what this
yeah, and
person thinks.
of course, it's like depending on someone's mic quality or their accent or the language they speak and all that. They might obviously there's conflicts there, and it's not always entirely clear what someone means. If
That is true. Yeah.
mm. It is unfortunate when like slight miscommunications kind of rip things apart. But
Hmm.
mm,
Yeah. It's just interesting. And
yeah,
I wanted to say this, by the way. I think I've said this, I might have said this on an interview before, but again, this is for the die-hard fans who stick in for the full 90 minutes of this interview. You said like the Heart of Nations thing, like we had a ton of active players online. Like the player count was like it was
oh
big.
yeah,
We were nearly like
it
what,
was
like
big.
150 people on or something crazy like that.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think it was as well prepared as it could have been.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of planning. A lot of planning went into a lot of planning and designing of the museum building went into it. But like the actual event itself, I'm not. I like. I mean, I'm not I wasn't particularly very hands on, let's say, and I'm not particularly hands on person to be perfectly honest. I'm not keen in putting a lot of effort in something where where there's not very much of a
Yeah,
satisfaction with it.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I think it could have been done a lot better because I mean, for example, I was meant to be serving alcohol and like brewery stuff
yeah. I
during the
remember.
event, and
Yeah.
well, that didn't obviously due to a permissions problem, but due to a permissions problem, which I'm going to be honest, could have been avoided. Um, yeah, due to a permissions problem, I kind of just had to throw my whole inventory of bread that I had with me because I was making bread at the time before the event happened. You know, I just started throwing away bread and cupcakes and whatever I got. And I was like, well, whatever I had, I threw. So,
See. Yeah, like
oh well.
I, I do
Other than
remember.
that, I think that there was a lot of obviously, you know, it's a big task to talk to 200 strangers. But
Yeah.
I feel like the presentation could have been a bit better, and you know, like how they went about people's speeches and all that, and see for that quiz, see if the chat didn't just spout the answer, then it maybe would have been a bit more fair,
Hmm.
you know. And some of the questions for the quiz were total ridiculous. Like
Oh
I can't
yeah.
remember the question at the top of my head, but there was one question in particular where it was like, "Who is gonna know that?"
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, like some of those questions, I remember thinking like, if you were not an original CCNet player, which
well,
at
it's,
maximum there were like 10 or 20 of, you're not gonna know this question. You're not gonna
yeah.
know this one.
There's a few questions I was maybe a wee bit hesitant on, but I understand why they were asking it. But there was that one question in particular, I was just like, "What the hell was this?"
Yeah. And like the other
Yeah.
thing, especially with player speeches and stuff, is like maybe we should have talked to the nominees to make sure that they'd show up.
I think there was a little bit of I think there was a little. I think there was a wee bit of communication. I know there was meant to be a little bit of communication because I had that wee bit of communication, and I'm a
Yeah, but like I remember,
wee bit salty. I didn't win anything, but you know, we'll just leave it at that. Wee bit salty. I didn't win anything,
yeah, but like I
and then
remember
you
like
should
I
beat
was a
me three
nominee.
times.
Yeah, but like I was a nominee, Revolt was a nominee. Like it couldn't
Yeah,
have
I mean,
been it couldn't have been
it's
too hard to like send an email to make sure
it's,
like, hey, are you gonna show up?
it's not even. I got a Discord message. It
Yeah,
was
like
from I
honestly.
got a Discord message from Paul, but I was like, yeah, I can show up in that time.
Yeah.
You know, but honestly, for the voting thing, I thought your category was pretty fair. It was between you and Mihai. And I thought, well, Mihai, you know, he's got all these books that no one reads, and you've got these papers people read. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I won't say I was so salty about it, although I was definitely a little
I
bit
mean,
peeved.
second place is second. At least being a nominee is, you know, is an honour. But you know,
Oh yeah.
second place is a good one.
Uh-huh. And
Although I
like
didn't know if I was second place or not. I was wee bit annoyed about it. Wee bit annoyed about it.
I mean like and the other thing I remember is when I was like like doing the voting roll, I remember some of the questions were like messed up. Like there was a
Uh,
question for best builder and it required like a number answer and I was like, "Wait, what?"
yeah. Honestly, I think that was a bit of a joke as well. I, the way I see it is if you're not gonna do it right, don't do it at all.
Yeah.
It's all about the planning, preparation, and the testing.
Hmm.
Testing's an important one. Anything digital, whether it be like whether or not having a war like being able to get out of the museum area would mess it up, would mess something else up.
Yeah.
Um,
And
you
then
know, like
and like the cornerstone about the whole event for me was at the end when they were taking all of the when they were taking all of the winners pictures. I was still there. And I think I've told the story to a few people, like Revolt definitely knows this, he was there for it. Like I remember thinking, what's gonna stop me from just like going on the stage and messaging like one of the admins like, hey, can I get in that photo? And what I did is I messaged Kant, and he allowed me
Well,
to get on. He teleported me up, and I photobombed. So that was fun.
yeah.
So like if you look at one of the or not nominee photos, you look at one of the winners photos,
What is yeah.
and like I'm like smack dab in the front row, and like everybody's
Mm.
holding their trophies, and I got nothing. It
Though I think that kind of leads in well to what the next time I was going to talk about, kind of just the unprofessionalism from
oh
it.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
and
very true.
by the way, see whoever took my head for see whoever put my head in the contributors thing. It's not even my skin, mate.
Wait, really?
Yeah, yeah, it's Hartzell's skin. I've never heard Hartzell's skin in my life, but
That's actually pretty
my,
funny.
my head is Hartzell's skin apparently. But that's fine.
Uh, I
Fine.
I kind of
I've got plans to plaster my face in other places.
yeah, that is true. But
While keeping true to the source material, which should narrow it down quite a lot.
I
Hmm.
do
Yeah.
remember when I filed to get like some of my stuff put in the museum. Like I had a series of books, like S.E.E. history books that I had written, and I copied them and I sent them in. And I remember thinking like I could have just totally made up everything in those books and they still would have put them out on display.
Yeah, you could have. I didn't read the history books to be honest because I
Oh
can't
yeah,
see I'm too interested. See,
like
when I was like what Voyager Explorer rank and I heard of the big bad cultist empire, I thought, man, this is cool, man. Black and red, I love them color schemes. It's the birds. I like the birds, you know.
yeah.
And maybe it's now become a bit of an unhealthy obsession. Well, it was more of an obsession back then, but now it's a bit of a now it's more of an artistic hobby.
Oh wow.
Mm.
I mean, at least you're admitting it.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah, it's talking about things in my town. Recently about a graveyard, just to fill
Really?
in space. Yeah, just to fill in space. I'm I'm a bit iffy on how the kind of walls look, but the graves part of it is what I think is genius.
Really?
Should I ever not be able to play CCNet in recent times? Everyone's prepared. All the useful part of my ender chest, i.e., all the gold blocks that I've been stashing away from a rainy day, just dump that in my grave.
I mean,
I was I was planning to put a lot more, like every single grave with a player name on it was meant to have something of theirs, i.e., whether it's their head from a Viracocha siege, banners from ages ago, my entire e-chest. Honestly, other than putting my entire e-chest, I can't be bothered fighting. Maybe I will one day. But
I mean,
like
like,
when I did it like yesterday, I was getting my affairs in order. Let's say, even though I'm not planning on quitting or
uh,
moving on. Um,
I mean,
yeah,
like, theoretically, if I had a grave plot and I was going to move on eventually, oh, I'd fill that thing with as many pieces of memorabilia and junk as I could possible.
it's it's not even. I honestly,
Like,
it's just, when I like I was writing what was pretty much a future quitting book. Right, there's a book in my grave that's like my like pretty much my ceasing at will. Really, what should the person who finds this or whoever raised my town first and they find that book, because it's not even hard to find. There is literally a hole with a double chest in it with a book in it,
uh,
and my entire ender chest, and all the collector's stuff. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I mean, I don't,
like,
like see
I'm gonna be the
if
guy
I
doing that.
yeah, anyone watching this now gonna know that in my grave is
A book.
70K's worth of gold blocks.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm like when I was writing that book, yes, like last night, I was I was honestly contemplating um, how future CCNet would be, how it would like who would be the person to come upon this grave and be like, wow, there's there's a book, and
Yeah.
they read the book, they go through it, and they go, wow, who who is this person? Who are these people? Who are these people in this book? And then they ask about it a bit, and they go, oh yeah, he's that guy who stole half of my nation's port. He's that guy who helped me in my times of trouble. He's that guy who did that thing that one time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
And I just wonder how it'll be. You know, how will my town be in future? Like,
and how will you be remembered?
yeah, yeah, because I mean, everyone kind of wants to leave their piece of the piece of the cake behind. They kind of want to leave their breadcrumb trail.
Yeah. And like obviously a lot of people do that in many different ways. I mean, you have people like
Yeah.
MV Pan who's is still very active, but like
Oh
building a
yes.
massive statue of himself and getting like three places built by him uh to not have upkeep on them. So it's like, there are various degrees of
Three places. I'm pretty sure someone did two. Unless
no,
I'm
because
missing one.
it's Cultist Tower, the MV Pan Point, and then also
Yeah.
Panama, because he designed the Panama Canal.
Oh, well, to be fair, the Panama Canal's a server town. That doesn't count.
I guess, but like, come on,
It is nice. It is nice.
it is very nice. It has the weird. This is what I gotta say though. Like,
It's a
I
little bit.
love,
It's a little bit impractical. It's a little
yeah,
bit impractical. The
yeah.
surrounding terrain is not exactly what I'd call the most blended in with it,
Well,
but
like,
it's
don't get me
nice.
wrong.
It's
Like,
nice.
it's
It's
very nice.
also my kind of pet peeve with it is just barely wide enough to fit my landing craft in it.
Like, this is my big pet peeve with it. Like, how do you get
It's
across
just
it by land?
well, the ocean level is like the sea level around it is only maybe like one or two blocks. So you just dump your truck in the water and go.
Yeah, but like, if
Like
you're on a
if
horse or something, then that's like really inconvenient.
I mean, buy one day of voter, take a capture egg with you, capture egg your horse, go to the other side, put it back down.
Fair point.
Yeah, I mean, voter rank. I think voter rank's really unloved, underrated. To
Oh
be
yeah.
honest, everyone's splashing out 10k for voter or supporter when you could just vote for 2 days and you've got a free day of supporter. It's like, well,
Well, the thing with the voter rank is it's very tedious to get. Like, I could have
not
had
really. Just auto
well,
vote. Auto voting solves a lot of problems, including the vote tokens problem.
but like the thing is, you go through all the vote websites, which is gonna take you like 5 minutes, because like they buffer and it sucks. And
Eh, ah, they're
you do
okay.
that like twice a day, I think.
Well, really one.
And
It's depending on when you vote. It's either once or twice per day.
yeah, and then you do that for 5 days. You get yourself 3 days of voter rank.
Mm.
And it's like, is
I,
3 days really worth it? Like,
well, it depends what you're doing with it. It depends what you're doing with a voter rank. See if you're buying a voter rank just for the fancy colours in your name, then it's probably not worth it.
no, it's not at
If
all.
it, yeah, but if you're doing it for like I don't know, you need to use a capture egg or you're reloading a sword, let's say, or your entire armor set. If you're really that um egotistical.
Yeah, arguably. Like, I mean, when it comes to that sort of stuff, like I remember if you don't like reap the benefits of like supporter or voter rank, and you just do it to like, get the cool looking name, then it's like you might as well just stick with the status you have with your regular. rank. Like I'm like what, a conquistador? Like I think I'd prefer having that show up than like a cool, colorful microwave in red and black.
I'm on the Viceroy rank. Everyone thinks staff rank is my supporter perms. So, like I've had people asking me, do you get like free support with staff? I'm like, no, I'm on the Viceroy.
Yeah,
Can't do it. I can do Viceroy things.
I mean, well, like with the staff ranks and stuff, like I don't really think you need supporter when you're staff.
Like, honestly, if 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 they offered free support with staff rank, you just get loads of people signing up just for the staff rank.
Oh
Which
yeah.
I don't think is the right way of going about it. The reason you would want to apply for staff is because you want to help other people. There's no other way about it.
Hmm.
If you're if you're an extremely busy person, then like I mean, me personally, I don't think staff's for you. Like other people might disagree. People might think, oh, it doesn't matter if you're busy or not. It's not you go. It's worth a try. But it's if you've not got if you've not got the time to help other people, why apply for it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like honestly, I think
Like
like I filed
you want
I filed a
yeah.
staff EOI a while ago, and I remember thinking like all those things, like, if I don't have the time to do this, then like, well, why would I? Like, dang. Because like some of this,
Well,
like
you
obviously,
also want to do it for all the right reasons. Like you don't want to
oh
do it
yeah,
just so you've got the power to ban people. What's the point? What's the point in that? You don't like see if you're if you're going in with the mindset of you want to help other people, you're not a horrible person. Um, you're not afraid to put in some time. You know, commit to helping other people. Then like it's probably something you might be worth you doing. You know.
hmm. And like the other thing is, if you make it so like you get supporter rank while you're a staff member, then like as you said, you're gonna get 1,000 people who do it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, you do it for the support, right? I mean, it's free support.
And then like
Yeah.
sure, you'll probably get like 4 or 5 new people out of it, but those people aren't gonna be the best. Those people are gonna be just like sure they may have
Not too
perfect
fast.
resumes, but nah.
That's why they have. I feel like that's why they have the trial people to see if the people they're doing the people that they take in are the people who are doing it for the reasons they want them to be doing it for. But I also feel there's an air of professionality about it. Like I mean, a lot of things are quite casual when it comes to how questions are answered and all that. Like I feel almost an air of professionality to be placed, or a bit of dignity, a bit of integrity, rather than just being like no, I don't know.
Yeah.
Rather than being really informal and casual about it. Yeah, which honestly I've done a couple of times myself. I've been a bit too casual, and I probably should have been a bit more professional about it.
Hmm. Well,
But
like
there's
I
an air
think
of there's an air of professionalism. I think other members of the staff should have that might not already. But
the
mm,
just a casual hinting
um,
that maybe staff should be a little
I,
bit more professional. Okay.
I mean, not really. I'm not out to get it after anyone. I'm not. I don't have like a particular vendetta against anyone in particular.
Oh yeah.
I've got my personal opinions of other people, and they've got theirs of mine. So it's like
Hmm. Well,
each
it's
to their
also
own.
not your job to like have vendettas against people.
No, there's not like for the most part, there's no need to have a vendetta against other people.
No,
Like, there's no need to have a there's no need to be like up against other people and
no,
all that.
not at all. Like, I mean, when it comes to that sort of stuff, like, if you're especially becoming like even a staff member because you just dislike a certain group, then it's like,
Yeah,
well, now
yeah,
you're really in the bucket.
yeah. If the only reason I joined staff is because I absolutely really despised if I absolutely really despised like this one person from like somewhere.
Oh,
Then like
okay.
well, then what? Then what? No, for me it's no in particular because I'm not out to get anybody. I'm not after
Yeah,
anybody. I don't.
yeah. But
But
like, if you're just against this one person and you're trying to become a staff member, then like, well,
yeah,
come on, man.
it, like if you're doing it just to be authoritative and have that kind of that power on you, it's not worth you doing.
No,
It's not worth it's not worth you putting in any of the effort into doing it.
no. And then if you do that as well, like if you and like you still pass in and you still get in, and like you end up getting that person banned or punished in whatever way, then like what are you gonna do then? You're just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
floating.
I mean, I don't particularly enjoy banning people, right? It's not one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
I like investigating things. I'm quite an investigative, curious person. I like investigating things, but I'm not particularly doing things just for a means to ban somebody at the end of it. Like if I can just help someone find out, you know, why they're missing a few things, and that's good enough for me, ban or not.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean,
Mm,
like,
that's it.
yeah, it's I, I really don't know how to feel about that sort of stuff. Like, because at the end of the day, I know that probably no one is following that prerogative, but if they are, then yeah,
Yeah.
it's
At
rough.
the end of the day,
It's
people can do what they want. Is the consequences of it and what they gain from it is up to them.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just whatever the idea is, whatever I like. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with that, we are closing in on 2 hours. It's an
Oh,
hour and
brilliant.
51 minutes. I have spent
Mm.
a majority of my early afternoon on this now.
Yes.
Ugh, man. And speaking of an hour and 51 minutes, we have Revolt chiming in, the sole viewer for a majority of this event. Revolt has
That's
waited
wee bit disappointing.
a
Oh well.
little bit. Well, I think a few people have chimed in and out, but it is a 2 hour, essentially
Yeah.
podcast at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah. It has been quite loud.
Yeah. But Revolt,
I quite enjoy the kind of because it feels more natural having a longer
oh
thing
yeah.
where we're having a more condensed one, a faster one. It seems almost a bit forced and genuine.
Hmm. Well, see,
It's
I like an interview when I can like sit down and have a coffee or something, or like I don't drink coffee, but like if I could sit down, have a drink, and talk about something, then that's a good interview. Cause
yeah,
like it's not forced, it's genuine.
really the kind of people you want to interview. The people you bounce off of a bit. You know, they'll say something and you know you reply to it, and then they'll take it a bit further, and you bounce off a bit.
Yeah, and it's like every once in a while there'll be someone will like I'll ask a question, they'll yap and talk about it. I'll ask another question, yap and talk, and like obviously that's very educational, I guess, but it's not the right prerogative. It's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean
Anyway.
back when I was talking about the kind of staff etiquette I thingy of myself. It's the kind of etiquette I take myself. It's like
Hmm.
is how it's almost how I believe people in the community should go as well. It's
Yeah.
I don't see the point on you know when you lose being all being all annoying about it, being like, haha, haha, you suck, man. The only reason you won is because you're doing this and that. And it's like, well, where does that get you? That doesn't get you anywhere. It's
Yeah,
like, well, it doesn't make you feel any better either. It just makes you feel.
and it doesn't change anything. Like,
No, it doesn't. It doesn't change anything. It just means the person you're talking to thinks you're an absolute tosser. But like,
yeah, like
like I mean, I see it all the time. Regions like for example, let's say Quinn has lost Mediterranean or something, right? And you'll have people in Rome. They'll be saying something. They'll be saying something terrible, and they'll be
yeah, I'll be like, oh, you sucker.
yeah, yeah, you suck. It's like, well, what's the need? What's the point?
Yeah,
It's, there's no benefit to doing that. It's just
yeah,
it's almost you're just being annoying for the sake of making yourself feel better. But at the end of the day, you don't feel better because when finally your luck runs out and your what was pretty much toxicity, your toxicity comes back to bite you. Then it's well then that actually kind of gubbed in it. But then they'll be all remorseful. Oh, I didn't mean to come off like that. Or it's like, well, you did. Otherwise, you wouldn't have said it.
yeah.
So
Well, like, and at the end of the day, like, we hope that all, like, oh, you suck, or oh, you're terrible, like, that all stays, like, lighthearted
yeah,
and low.
they're all
But
quite
sometimes
hard to
it,
be for some people, especially like young children play this server, young children play this server, and it
yeah,
is a children's server, so it's made for them. It's for them to come and enjoy themselves. When they're maybe participating with their friends in their nation, maybe they're fighting a siege or something, and they're just getting they're getting told that they're just terrible at the game, and like for a child that can be life changing.
hmm
For someone old, it's maybe not as big of a deal unless they're quite a sensitive person. But honestly, it's a bit of a shame to see some people bullied off CCNet.
yeah. And, like, the other thing is, like,
Like
what
like I
I've
mean
heard,
I mean
like,
before I kind of want to keep what I'm going to say about Vegas possible, but I'm going to be honest. I can't really say it. Recently, there was someone's brother, right, who joined CCNet, right, and
mhm,
obviously that's someone, and like they ended up not being able to play CCNet for a bit, and and the person's brother, they were play they were happy playing, they were grinding in CMMO, making friends and that, and doing things they enjoyed, and they were just being harassed. They were just
yeah,
being harassed. That person's brother doesn't even want to play anymore. It's actually a shame how
it is. And, like, the other thing is,
it's
especially when it comes to, like, toxicity and that, like, I really hope that the people who are being, like, all, like, pissy about it are, like, younger, because, like, to me, when I see someone who I know is, like, 25 and is yelling at someone who cannot be older than 18, then it's like, well, who are you? Like, it's just
yeah. I
very
mean, have a bit of
derogatory.
maturity. Honestly, like
Yeah.
see if it's maybe like two younger people kind of like opping each other up. Let's say in normal slang. If they're throwing insults off each other, then like well then that's a mess of their own making. And that's a problem. But it's not as bad as having an adult screaming at a lane for not being as good at the game, not having as many hours or being as good at the game as they are at it. It's
Yeah. That's just a shame. Like,
yeah,
and it really shows how immature you are if you're gonna scream at, uh, like a 15-year-old for not filling up the fort or whatever, or not
yeah.
being up at 2 a.m. to fight the night cappers. It's like, come on, man.
To be honest, I'm also not a big fan of like spending a lot of time on CCNet, like doing like stuff like filling votes.
Oh yeah.
I'll fill the occasional fort. Like when I filled a bit of Ethereum, I filled it out quite well. for what I believe anyway. I like to think, but
Yeah. Well, it's like I was filling like the current Caribbean fort, and it's like I don't want to do that every day. Like I'll put on
you,
some
you,
rock music.
you don't want to do you don't want to do it every day. But see if you
No.
need to grind some acrobatics MCMO I wanted to grind some acrobatics MCMO. So I filled Ethereum because I had nothing better to do and I wanted to grind some MCMO. So I pillared up maybe 10, 12 blocks up to the level that it was. Jumped down, gained my acrobatics level, tied up again, and jumped off. And I continued doing that for a round. Like I got a good feel. I got like 100 levels doing that. I only filled up maybe like a point or therefore. That was good. That was like a good way to get like for me to get acrobatics.
Yeah. But it's like you don't want to do that every day. Like you're gonna put on some
Oh no,
rock music and power through.
you don't want to sit there, and you definitely don't want to sit there every day because it can be
No.
quite it can be quite straining on your eyes. First of all, like health wise, it can be quite bad for you mentally and health wise, and it's not great to do just all the time as well because it can't it almost puts you off ceasing it a bit because you're like, oh, I've got to log in and fill the fort today.
Well, like
I
that's
wish I
what
didn't have I wish I
like
didn't
that's
have to mine for gold today.
yeah, like that's what so many of these nation leaders do too. Like they'll be like these very hardcore like grind, like build, keep the nation
Yeah,
up,
and
and they'll burn themselves
honestly,
out.
I don't think that's their fault that they have to do that. I think that's more just the way CCNet plays, where everyone sort of mass recruit all the time. Like I had the thought of what if I had a couple of new players silver farming for me and they wanted a silver farm, they silver farmed occasionally. You know, they got a bit out of it, I got a bit out of it. Well, it's a win-win. But but like whenever I try to recruit, right, I've given up trying to babysit new players. Right, I'll go. Do you want a plot? Either they won't respond or they will say no, and I'll be like, fine, fair enough. I'll tell them the basic information that they need to know off the bat, and if they want to know anything more, they can let me know, and I'll never see them again.
Yeah, like
Mm,
it's just
maybe,
and like
maybe
to
that's not
make
the right way to go about it, but maybe that's not the right way to go about it now. But I'm not. I don't. I can't be bothered recruiting 24/7 anymore. I can't be
oh
bothered trying
yeah,
to snipe every new player off of someone, trying to snipe people's friends that they've invited.
oh yeah,
It's not worth it for me. You've got these towns of Siberian that have got 80 residents. You've got maybe 3 or 4 towns that get 80 residents just because they sit there and recruit all day. And it's like, well, sure, but how many of those players actually stick about? Like, I mean,
like maximum 5.
yeah, I mean, like those 75 other players, they could be in another town in another nation. They could be playing actively. They just had to be in the right crowd at the right time.
Hmm. Well,
And honestly,
with with that, I will have to cut you off. We've encapsulated like 2
ah,
hours, and I have food in the oven that I need to take out and eat. So
at least it's not like last time we had macaroni that was cold.
that I did have cold macaroni. That
At
was
least it's in the oven this time. You
yeah.
know, it's
Well, I'm gonna go enjoy my lasagna, Vic. But
yeah. You have a good
that
day.
was man, that was a marathon.
It was well worth it though. Well worth it. I'll make quite the. I'll either make a break or I won't. Really.
Well, with that, folks, for the few people that have been listening in for this whole period of 2 hours and 3 minutes, this has been S.E.E. Media News Broadcasting. I'm your interviewee, your host, Microwave the One. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and have a